Almighty Father, Heavenly King.
You may be seated. So it is Father's Day, and the title today is Honoring Our Fathers. And I want to remind you that this is a blessing because we can honor ourselves this day. Doesn't matter of gender, because if you've offered love, respect, protection, support, or as Marilyn said, I mow the lawn. We all have the capacity to give that blessing. And I do believe that the common expression of God the Father is acknowledging that incredible unconditional love that's showering us and blessing us in each and every moment, no matter what we say, do, or are. So honoring our fathers today is truly a blessing. I'm starting with a scripture reading. This is Genesis chapter 12, verse 3. In thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. This is like our statement of faith. There's only one power. There's only one presence. And in that, there is the great love that extends through all of us. And family is our birth family. Family is our dear friends. Family is our community. Family is our nation. Family is our humanity of the whole planet Earth and any other place human beings might be walking around. You never know. But within this, we are blessed because this statement affirms what we already know. That God is present and caring and supportive and protecting us with each breath that we take. Do we know this? Do we forget it sometimes? Be honest, yes? Okay, so we're all in the right place because we're all in this together. So I love Mr. Rogers. Of course, he's famous for Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and all that good stuff. But he said, anyone who does anything to help a child in his life is a hero. Those moments of encouragement, the one who helps us when we're in need. I'm sure each of us has experiences where we've experienced some help from someone and then we looked up to them as, wow, thank you for the help. And in our heart, they're a hero because they stood up against the flow of something that wasn't working for us. Anyone have that experience? Want to share?
Yes, a lot of it came from my early childhood when I learned from the community, the small community in Covington, and it transitioned into sports and athletes and stuff like that where you met and built teams and just got a chance to know a whole lot of people.
So coaches and mentors and that brings us together in teams and sports. Anyone else? Yes, Wes.
They were adults. I hope I could mentor them and help them be their best.
And I met some of those because you brought them to church, and we've also gone and sing Christmas carols with them during the holidays and stuff. And they do look up and feel that they are safe, because of the great ministry you provide in your service. It's beautiful. Anyone? Yes, Kathy.
A little similar story. I coached Special Olympics for more than a decade, and I thought I was doing them a favor by, and I had kids who grew from children to adolescents, and some never put their faces in the water. I mean, that's just how it is. But I wasn't doing for them what they did for me. Yes. Was so much more than anything I could have ever done. I'm getting goosebumps just telling you.
Yes. So helping with Special Olympics and serving in that way and seeing these kids grow, no matter what they were able to do, what Kathy received was so much bigger. And we experience that when we're doing sacred service, when we're singing for others, when we're helping with food, or we're helping with Family Promise, or serving on the board. We cannot outgive God. We can try, and it's actually a magnificent goal. If you set a goal, I am going to outlive God today. I'm going to give more than God gives. I dare you. That's being a help to all children, because is a 95-year-old still a child? Yes! They're an incredible child of God. And if you've ever met Joan Kempo, you know that she's a child, a magnificent expression of God. So we are in the right place by honoring our fathers. This quote's from President Harry S. Truman. He says, "I have found the very best way to advise your children is to find out what they want to do and advise them to do it." This is called Easy Parenting 101. So what do you want to do? Great. Tell me how it works. How can I support you to do that? No resistance there. And when we can be a loving presence, when we can love our kids, our spouses, our friends, just where they are, they don't have to change in any way. You're not going to be able to change them anyway. Anyone successfully change their spouse? Anyone wish they could? Okay, now, yes, because we may want it, but it doesn't work. The only place we can make a change is in us. But when our best friend, or our child, or our nephew, or our neighbor says, "I could use some help here. I need some advice," then we can share whatever we've got. Yes? Honoring our fathers. Jen Valvano was a basketball player, and then a coach, and then a broadcaster. And he's written some wonderful books. And here he says, "My father gave me the greatest gift anyone could give another person. He believed in me." Well, this is where the pedal meets the metal. To be believed in. And I believe this is what helps us to become the people we are. Does anyone have a story they'd like to share about an experience of a father or father figure or a person that believed in you, in the difference that made in your life? Anyone? Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mary Jo, And I didn't know it, but my dad was about to die of a heart attack, and he knew it. Okay. And he called me up randomly and said, I need you to come to Austin. I was living here with my son, and he was in gymnastics. He goes, I need you to come to Austin now. I can't get my car started. And he's a very smart man. So I go up there and I look and I said, well, we need to get a new battery for your remote. So we go to Radio Shack. This is how long it was. And we came back. And he looked at me and I said, well, I learned that from you. And he said, I knew you will always land on your feet, Mary Jo. I never have to worry about you. And he died the next day.
Wow.
But
what a gift.
Right.
Yeah.
I was in a fishing boats a couple of years ago. I think I was about 5, 6, something like that. And I was with, my dad was in the boat and another fellow, and it was really hot. And I really wanted to get in the water, but I didn't know how to swim. And my dad said, well, jump in, take care of you. I'll have the paddle right here. And now you just hold on to the paddle. And whenever I jumped in, I came up, and he just kept moving the paddle. As I was getting toward it, I didn't realize it, but I was swimming and trying to get to the paddle so that I wouldn't drown. And finally he stopped the paddle, and I got a hold of it, and I got back in the boat. And he said, I know you could get it.
Our dads come from the same town, little bitty cotton farming town, and that's how my dad taught me to swim too. It was make it or not, kid. It was. They just threw you in, didn't they?
This is called Texas Tough. Just throw him in and maybe hand him a paddle. Did I see a hand over here? It's so good to see you again.
It's great to be here at Unity. We've been gone about 6 weeks, and we'll be here for maybe about 3 more months until we move to Indiana. But I would like to say to all of you that I honor my husband as my father because I didn't have a daddy. He died when I was 21 months old. And my mother died when I was 35, and I didn't have brothers and sisters. So the most important person in my life is my husband, who has been so remarkable at teaching me so many things that I never got, because he grew up in a normal family with a brother and a mom and a dad in a small town of 2,000 people or less at that time. And he's very fortunate. And I have learned from him, and I honor him today. Thank you.
How beautiful. Anyone else? There's no rule.
My dad was kind of a little, he wasn't the kind of guy you'd go up and hug, and everything he processed intellectually. And I had a dear, dear friend, one of my best friends when I was in my 20s and 30s, who was in his 60s, and for some reason we were in a show together and we just clicked, and all of a sudden we were doing everything, and he'd go to Japan for 3 or 4 months, and then he'd come back and forth, and I always knew when his plane landed. You just knew that. Anyway, he'd done a whole lot of stuff in California, back in the 60s, and exploration, and with him, he taught me to be vulnerable. He taught me to show him what I needed that had always been guarded. I mean, he's long passed now, but when we were just talking about our fathers, my dad came up, and he was a great guy, my dad, but then my friend Lloyd came up. I mean, he was truly, he filled in all those holes that I never got as a kid.
Yes. Yeah, we do support each other by learning how to be there. And often it's not what they say. It's just the presence of someone that can love us no matter what. And it does change us. My own father, right about the time my father and my mother were getting divorced, I was going off to college, and I didn't have enough money to actually get past the first quarter. But I was going. And he was driving me down to University of California, Santa Cruz, and he was like, I just, how are you going to do this? How are you going to make this work? And I had a whole plan. And so I shared it with him, and he said, go for it. Just enjoy every moment. And what he gave me when I got out of the car, I still have it, is a Webster's dictionary inscribed with the most beautiful blessing for my journey. And it touched me. It gave me the goose to do it. And I did it in 4 years. And I had 3 jobs and paid my way through, and it was truly a magnificent experience. So as we have heard these wonderful ways that people have supported us and honored us and believed in us, that helped us believe in ourselves, I have a very practical request for our personal exploration this week. Write a letter to your father or father figure sharing what you're grateful for. Now, please don't write this in your tablet or on the computer. Grab a piece of paper. You want to grab some linen or watermark paper or some gift wrap, or it could be a brown paper bag. I don't care, but write it out. And if your father's living, you can send it, or this father figure's living, you can mail it. If not, you can hold on to it, or you could burn it. The process for this is writing your thoughts out. And then what you do with that paper is your choice. Honoring our fathers is tapping in and honoring ourselves, because we can't see this in another if we don't have it ourselves. And that's the greatest gift that we can give to our Almighty Father, to God, is loving ourselves and loving others as God loves us. And truly, that's honoring our fathers. Thank you.